Hi, I'm Nancy. Welcome to Mindful Yoga. Today we're going to do a session that takes as its theme, engaging the glutes. We'll assess the glutes somewhat, and then we will see if we can activate them a bit. We will also have the theme of opening a gap in our day by just breathing 3 times in conscious breath. So please take a seat where you can be alert. Allow the body to relax down towards the floor, towards the earth. Let the spine unfurl upwards. Shoulder blades relax down the back. Pema Chodron asks us this ultimate question: since death is certain, but the time of death is uncertain, what is the most important thing? Invitation to come into your conscious breath, aware of the breath coming into the body, filling the body, and leaving the body. Listen to the breath. Now bring your forefingers just in front of the flaps of your ears. We're going to breathe as we close the flaps of our ears. So try it just once, closing the flaps of your ears and taking an inhale and an exhale. As you unclose the ears, you can see that you really hear your breath when you're in here, inside your closed ears. So we're going to do that 3 times, closing the flaps of the ears and taking 3 breaths, then emerging for an inhale and exhale, and we'll do it once again. So closing the flaps for 3 breaths. Take an inhale and exhale. Then listening intently for 3 more breaths with the flaps of the ears closed. Release, breathe, listen to the stillness. Let the world have a chance to open up to us. And opening the eyes, removing anything that is underneath you that makes your hips high, and coming onto a blanket, or you could be in a chair for this as well. We'll start as we often do by lifting one arm and sliding over the mat. Just take your time coming into the side bend, opening up through the ribs. You really don't know how long you have to wake up from the cocoon of your habitual patterns. One more time. And fulfill your potential. Come back through center. Bring one hand to the opposite side of the head Inhale, head into hand. Exhale, ear over to shoulder, relaxing down through shoulders. One more time. Inhale, push, head into hand. And exhale down, and we'll hold here, relaxing everything down. We see the gathering storm of our habits, maybe anger, jealousy, resentment, guilt, fear. Create a gap. Release the head, come up through center. Other hand comes up to the opposite side of the head. Inhale, head into hand, and exhale, ear down towards shoulder. Inhale once again, head into hand, and exhale, soft through neck, soft through shoulders, and down through the body. We can stop and take 3 conscious breaths, and the world has a chance to open up to us. Release and let the head come back up. Bring the hands down to the back of the head, cradle the skull. Inhale, head into hands, and exhale as chin comes towards chest, a gentle drawing down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Holding for a long exhale here. And one more time. Release the head. Bring arms wide, elbows soft, shoulders and wrists soft. Inhale, open. Exhale. Bring either the fronts of the palms or the backs of the palms together as you wish, with chin coming towards chest. We'll do this 3 more times, creating 3 conscious breaths to create a gap. Let hands come down. Bring one hand beside you. Swing forward, eyes pulling those fingers up into an arm revolution, reaching back, opening through the shoulder. 2 more times round. When washing up or drinking your tea or coffee, in a car, in a bus, or standing in line. And then come around the opposite way, pushing down through viscous air. Come to the other side, sweep up, inhale up, exhale back and down. Stop and listen. Listen intently. And back around the opposite direction. Bring arms wide, reach fingers out, from shoulders through elbows through wrists, reaching out to the walls on either side, then turning, gaze goes towards one corner of the room, just pivoting through the waist in the thoracic twist. Let the shoulders relax down. Spine is strong and gently curved like a fern. Come back through middle. Bring the hands to the thighs or the knees. Let the torso come forward, then over to one side, back, over to the other side. Around 2 more times. Feel the body awakening. And back the other way 3 times. 3 is the lucky number today. And coming back through center, let hands come back behind you. Make sure that you are have some weight in the balls, the heels, and the pads of the fingers of the hands. Let feet come wide. Let the knees go from side to side. Pema Chodron advises us to punctuate our lives with these thought-free moments. Just make a gap. And then letting the arm come around, let it come down towards the floor this time. It's a little bit of a different stretch as you come around, fingers going down towards the back corner, but towards the floor. A different stretch. And next time you come around, let the head come down onto the back of the hands, or arms could be lifting you up as well. Pinwheel legs, relaxing down, letting the whole body descend down towards the earth. Then lifting up and coming round to the other side, creating a gap. Inhale back up. Bring the legs wide. We're going to turn the ankles, those appendages at the ends of our legs, round and round, and round the other direction. Gratefulness to those feet and ankles that carry us so far. Then bring your hands up. Let your toes come apart or to become straightened, and then fold toes and fingers in and go back and forth. Toes and fingers squeezing together and opening up. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now let your face just squiggle around in all different directions. Waking it up. Bring the hands down between the legs. Knees are quite soft. Slide forward just a few inches. The chest is coming towards the screen. Eyes towards the horizon. Long in the back and coming back. One more time. Coming forward, not far. Just stretching through the lower back a bit. Then turning with hands on one leg, heart towards that corner of the room, and same thing, the chest coming forward towards the toes, just slightly. Keeping muscles balanced, long in the back, and come to the other side, and come forward. Too many forward folds in yoga can actually weaken the glutes. So we're doing some reparation here of what we need to do with yoga. Now we're going to come into a squat. So if you have a blanket underneath you, you might want to bring your heels right up onto that blanket and spread them apart a little bit. If you need to bring your hips up a bit, that's fine. Elbows might be on top of knees, or they might be between knees. Let the pelvic floor be slightly contracted, not greatly, just a gentle drawing in, long through the tailbone, not tucking the tailbone coming straight down, lifting up through the back of the neck, slight tuck in the chin. For 3, 2, and 1. Releasing that, we're going to come up to a standing position. We're going to be deer. We've done this before. Deer have hooves with thumbs and fingers together, and then they go into antlers with the forefinger and little finger up. So we start with the hooves. Weight into one foot, that knee is soft. The other foot comes forward and you're on the heel. Hands come over to the opposite side of the foot in front. As you bring the weight forward, turn the hooves into antlers, bring the antlers up. One hand stays up over the head and the other one points back towards the heel in the back. That heel in the back might be up or it might be down. Either way is fine. Coming into a nice twist here. Then bringing antlers up over the head again and round into hooves. Foot comes back and hands come down to groin area. Other foot reaches out, hooves to the opposite side. As you come forward with your weight, arms come up and around, antlers come overhead and reach back. Inhale up and over, become hooves and come back through center. Other foot comes out, weight back, antlers rise, weight comes forward. One hand stays up, one comes back towards the heel. Inhale back up, antlers come up and over, make hooves and come down to center. One more time on the opposite side, hooves to the side, weight comes forward, antlers rise, come over, enjoy the twist. Antlers come up and over once again and come back through center. Now we're going to be female deer, and we bring two fists, one to each side of the head. Weight comes into one foot with a soft knee. The other foot comes forward, sole of the foot on the mat and pointing over towards the opposite corner of the room. Weight comes forward. The hand, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. The hand of the back leg comes down, turn around, weight is forward into the front foot. We're checking out our environs to make sure everything is safe. Weight comes back, and the hand of the extended leg comes down over that leg. The deer takes a little bite of grass and comes back up. Foot comes back, hands come up to the head. Other foot comes forward, weight is back, then shifting the weight forward, hand to the back leg comes to the waist, look around, weight comes back, and hand reaches down that leg, opening up with a soft knee in the back of the leg, pausing for a moment and coming back up. Hands come back up to the head, weight into the opposite leg, other foot forward, weight to the front foot, look around the other direction, and come down. Poking your head out of the cocoon of self-involvement. Allow yourself the space to taste the air and the wind. Ears back up, hands in the back, weight in the back foot, weight comes forward, look around, taste the air and the wind, and then come down. Taste the sky and the ocean, the birds, and the land. And come back up. Now today, as I said, we're going to be dealing with the glutes in particular. Come to the back of your mat, and we're just going to walk up and down our mat a bit. As you walk with hands on the glutes, be aware that perhaps the glutes engage as the foot comes back. So every time the hip extends, and when the hip extends, it's opening in the front, as it does when you're walking. The back leg opens, and the glute is responsible for that hip extension. We do lots of hip extensions in yoga, but we aren't always aware of that glute that's engaging in the back. One way to test whether your glutes are engaging, just take a finger and bring it into the glute muscle, relaxed glute muscle. And so there should be plenty of just easy tissue there. Then engage that glute in the back and see if it feels hard and tight. And then try that on the other side. First, relaxing the glute, palpating in with the finger, relaxed, and then engaging the glute and pushing, and see whether it is a hard, tight glute. So we'll be doing a little bit more with the glute as we go on here. Let's come down into a hands and knees position. Opening up the spine here. Inhale as stomach sinks, heart slides forward. Exhale, tuck the toes, arch the back. Inhale, open. Exhale, arch up towards the sky. Opening the front of the spine, good support through the shoulders, and opening the back of the spine. Now bring the hands forward a hand's length. Let the hips come back towards the heels, then over to one side, forward, and over to the other side as it comes back over the heels. Circling round. Opening up through the hips. And changing direction. Feeling the body. And bring the hips back over the heels. Bring the arms along the side. Let the head come down onto the mat. Make a slight gap here. Breath. Then coming back up into hands and knees, raise the left arm up, bring it through underneath the armpit, let the shoulder and the side of the head come down onto the mat. Hips rise. Hips rise. Let the hips be even with the feet, just above the feet. Perhaps unfurl the arm and bring it up and over. Unwind, bring that hand back if you've wrapped and come up through center. This time the right hand goes up, feeds through underneath the armpit, side of head, side of shoulder comes down. Square the hips over the feet. Arm might rise, it might wrap around, opening through the chest. Release and unwind and come up. And we'll come down into Sphinx. Wiggling around, finding your comfort spot on the mat, forearms underneath the shoulders. Bring the ankles and knees together, engage the glutes, squeezing the glutes. Not too tight, just a comfortable amount. Then pushing the elbows down, pushing down with the shoulders and letting the head rise up out of the basket of the shoulders. Head rises up a bit. Be comfortable here. Let the gaze be down, maybe a foot in front of the mat. Let's make a gap of 3 breaths here. Listening. Let the torso come down. Arms come back along this. No, arms come so that you are allowing the forehead to come down onto the back of the palms. We're going to assess the glutes here. So hands are giving a little pillow for the forehead. Bring the toes tucked so that you can lift the right leg. Let the left leg lie down. The right leg is pushing back through the heel. Head is down. Squeeze the glute on the right side. Let the left leg just lie down there and lift just an inch or two up. And see if you can feel some engagement through the glute. Let it come down. Once again, squeezing the glute and lifting that leg just an inch or two. You might bring your finger back, palpate that glute muscle, and see if you can feel it tight and hard. If you're feeling any cramping through the hamstrings or the lower back, it could be that there's some compensation happening there. Now to the other side, both toes are still tucked. The right leg now is not doing anything, and the left leg rises up as you tighten the left glute and rise up just an inch or two. Once again, and you might palpate with your finger, see if that glute is turning on. Now to activate the glutes, that fire whenever we do this hip extension, we're going to bring the toes into a pointed position, and we'll raise just one leg. The other leg lies down, and the other one with pointed leg reaches up, activating the glute in order to do this. So as we bring the leg back, it's as if we're walking, and the glute is firing for that hip extension. See if you can feel the glute tightening, doing the work that it should do. Then try the other side. This is a way to activate the glutes, bring them alive. If you feel there's very little activation and maybe you feel some overuse of the hamstrings or the lower back, you might bend one leg. So if you bend your right leg, engage the glute, and there's really no way the hamstring can enter in to the action here. So if you can squeeze the glute and lift up slightly through, and this is a slight movement through the knee, and try the other side, bending the knee, squeezing the glute, and rising just the slightest bit so that the hamstring can't come into it. Now bring the arms down along the sides of the body. Palms are down. We're going to lift head and shoulders. Squeeze through the glutes and be using now the whole posterior chain of muscles. So the lower back is working as head and shoulders rise, and the glutes and the hamstrings. Arms come out. Hands are out to the sides in an inverted V, and thumbs are up. Bring it down. Now engaging the whole chain of muscles in the back. Thumbs up, arms out a bit to the sides for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back down. One more time. Lifting up, thumbs rise, arms rise, head and shoulders rise for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And come back. Take a little rest. Put your cheek on the back of your hands. Relax down through the lower back and the glutes, the hamstrings. Then we're going to roll over onto our backs. Bring the hands back behind to cradle the skull. Fingers might be at the edges of the sides of the skull if you would like. Knees are bent. One leg comes out, one knee comes up, and we tone the muscles of the abdomen and up along the ribs. Breathing synonymously. Letting the motion and the breath be this place of pause from the daily activities, the daily thoughts. For 3, 2, and 1. Then let the head come back. Arms are coming out from the shoulders, wide. Knees are bent and are going to come over to one side, stretching the ribs on the side, and then using those oblique muscles in the ribs to bring those legs back up over to the other side. Bring them up, back and forth, relaxing down and pulling up. One more time to each side. Then bring the feet down below the buttocks, arms are along the side. I'm going to do a bridge now, but it's somewhat of an abridged bridge. So our feet are a little farther forward from the buttocks than they usually are. Leave 8 inches maybe between the feet and the buttocks. Arms are along the side. And as usual, we'll push into the soles of the foot. Arms remain right along the side and into the shoulders. As the hips slowly rise, squeeze the glutes because we're coming into a hip extension again. Don't bring the hips up so far as you usually do. Stop in about the middle of your approach to the bridge and feel the glutes doing their work. Then come back down, relaxing the glutes. Push into the soles of the feet and the shoulders. As the hips rise, begin to squeeze those glutes, coming about halfway up. Just an easy diagonal, and come back down. Next time, as you come up, squeezing the glutes as you rise, come up a little bit farther this time. Now hamstrings and the lower back might enter in, probably will. You're using more of the posterior chain of muscles here. And let everything come back down. We'll do it one last time. As you rise up slowly, squeezing the glutes about halfway up, making sure you have the glute protection for your hip extension, and then letting the other muscles enter in. For 3, 2, and 1, and bring it down. Let's take a nice long stretch. Stretching out through the front and the back, the whole body. On each side. Then bring the knees up to the armpits, feet rise, come into happy baby. Move any way that appeals to you here. Take any stretch that you'd like to take, your body is asking for. And then extending the legs out, bring the arms so that the palms are up towards the ceiling. Raise the head, look down towards the feet or the knees, and bring yourself up with palms up. Hands come back behind, knees come, or feet come wide on the mat, and we're going to come up into up plank. Rising up. Aware here that once again, we're coming into hip extension. The hips are rising up, glutes engaged as you rise and come back down. Make sure your hands and feet are in comfortable positions here. Good support through the shoulders. As you come up, engaging through the glutes, especially as you come up towards the top of this, where the hips are really extended. Bring it down. And one more time, lifting up. And then at the top, making sure glutes are engaged as you extend the hips up just the slightest bit. They're really just open here and coming down. Let's come. Legs extended out in front of us, arms out in front with palms down, tailbone down towards the mat, a little tuck in the chin, long neck, knees are soft as you come forward, chest coming towards the feet, opening up a bit in the backs of the legs. And one more time. Standing up, we'll come to the front of the mat and we'll do a sun salutation. The sun is actually coming out here, so we are saluting the sun. So we're in mountain at the front of our mats. Feet are hip width apart, grounded down, lifting up through the body. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward, knees and hips are soft. Inhale as hands come to shins and slight back bend. Exhale down. Relax down through the vertebrae. Vertebrae slightly separate like pearls on a string. One more time, bringing hands to shins with an inhale, stretching from the bottom of the spine out through the neck. And coming back down, bring the hands on each side of the feet. Step or hop back into plank. Make sure the hands are directly under the shoulders for good support. Knees can be down or up for 3, 2, and 1. Then push up into downward dog. Knees are soft, perhaps feet are pedaling. Shoulder blades turn slightly towards the edges of the body. Then coming back through plank and then down as elbows bend and knees come down, and we'll come into Cobra. Just an easy Cobra here. A little bit of squeeze through the glutes to support this hip extension as the hips open in the front. Then bring the hands back a little bit so they're along the lower ribs, or they can be a little bit farther forward. Find a comfortable place to push down. Knees and feet remain down on the mat. Lift up and tighten the glutes a bit. So here again, we're in hip extension in this up dog position. So the glutes are protecting the opening in the front of the hips. Come back down. Take a breather. We'll do that once again, pushing up, coming up onto knees and feet, squeezing the glutes, and opening from pelvis up through sternum, and come back down. Tuck the toes, push into the hands, come up into downward dog once again. Hips come back towards the wall and back of you. Left foot comes under the hips, right foot rises up. Push into hands, push into foot, reach up through that foot. And then you might come through knees on mat, or the knee comes in under the arched back and foot comes through. You end up with one foot in front and the back knee comes down. Rise up into a lunge. Knee is slightly behind that extended hip. So your glutes working a little bit here, right? And then we're going to open the arms into hitchhiker fingers. So the thumbs are up and fingers are spread. Chest is open. And then come forward, bringing the arms together like wings, fingers, thumbs coming towards each other, not touching, opening up, slight rise as the pelvis opens up to the sternum, coming back. And one last time, opening up, coming forward, and bring the hands down. Feet come back and come back into downward dog. Reach back, do whatever feels good here to stretch back into downward dog. Then right foot is under the hips, left foot rises up, reach up with that foot, push into the hands and foot as you reach up. Knee might come in under as the back arches and foot might come through, or you might come through on bent knees. Bring the back knee down, rise up. Feel the thighs coming towards each other, getting your balance as hips are aligned across. Open up the arms, hitchhiker thumbs up, fingers open, and then coming forward just a bit. Hands coming towards each other. Inhale up, exhale forward. And one last time. Hands come down. Once again, come back into downward dog. One last stretch in downward dog. Then walking the feet forward and the hands back. Bringing them together. And slowly rolling up as you trace the fingers up the legs. Rolling up through the vertebrae. Let's pause for a moment, one hand on the chest, one hand on the belly, for a gap of 3 breaths. We'll come into some easy back bends here. First of all, just bring the hands to the hip creases, hands on hip creases, standing on the feet, hip width apart. Bring one toe back and establish that foundation leg so that you're grounded down through the foot, dynamic through the leg, lifting up through that side of the body. This is a kind of balance. Then bring the torso diagonally forward just a bit so that that back foot can lift up. Feeling engagement in the glute. You want to feel that engagement, that's fine or not. For 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now keep the same leg back. Bring it back a little farther. We're coming into a standing lunge. All toes are forward on railroad tracks. Front knee is slightly bent above the ankle. Bring one hand onto the glute in the back and one hand onto the thigh on the front leg. Engage the glute, supporting that open hip in the front. Then opening from pelvis up through sternum. Bring the eyes just to the place where ceiling and wall comes together. Tailbone remains long, straight down towards the earth. And the chin is slightly tucked, so you're long in the back of the neck. Then coming back down from that, bring the arms wide, feet remain in the same position, arms are wide, thumbs are up. Open up through the chest, open through the arms. Engage the glutes, squeeze the shoulder blades together a bit. Long in the neck still, but let the eyes come up just slightly more onto the ceiling. Weight in both of the feet. 3, 2, and 1. Bring everything back. Hands come to hips. The back foot might turn out to 30 degrees for a warrior 1. Your stance might get a little bit bigger. If that's uncomfortable, toes can remain towards the front. Bringing the hips to align them with the front of the mat, open in a peaceful warrior, palms forward. Then as you inhale, arching the arms up, lifting up through the mid-sternum. Chin remains slightly tucked. Gaze comes up farther on the ceiling, shoulders down the back, weight in both feet. And take a breath here. And let the arms come down. Hands onto hips, bring the feet together. Hips are under hips once again. Hands come down onto hip creases. Establish the other leg as the foundation leg. Opposite toe comes back behind, lifting up through the side of the body. That's your foundation now. Top of the torso is slightly forward, knee is soft, and lifting that leg 2 or 3 inches in the back, not much of a movement, engaging the glute as that occurs. For 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now bring the back foot back a little farther. All toes are forward on railroad tracks. Front knee is bent over the ankles. One hand comes to the glute in the back of the leg that's going back, and the other comes to the thigh. Engage the glute on the back leg side. Feel the opening in the front of the hip flexor. Long tailbone, long through the back of the neck. Opening from pelvis to sternum, eyes rise up to the juncture between ceiling and wall. Coming back up. Bring the arms wide, thumbs are up, chest is open, shoulder blades squeezing together. Same action, eyes come up a little farther onto the ceiling. Open through the back, open through the front. Then bring everything forward so that you're straight, and come into warrior 1 legs so that the back foot is perhaps out to 30 degrees, front foot is forward, knee is bent, a little wider stance, probably between the legs. Open the hands that are slightly back behind your body. Then arching arms up. Opening from pelvis, rising through mid-sternum, even a little tuck in the chin. Eyes rise a little farther up, shoulders descend down towards the waist. And take a breath here. Then bring arms down. Hands to the waist, bring the feet together. We're going to come into warrior 2. Finding your warrior 2 feet, toes forward in the front, other foot right behind the other foot now at a 30-degree angle. If it is hard on this hip in the front to have too much of an opening here, let the foot be diagonal. Adapt these postures to what you need. Feeling the strength of the bottom foot, both feet weighted down, opening up through the chest, and gazing out over the front fingers. Breathing, having a taste of the sun, the air, the clouds. Arm comes down onto the thigh, and the back arm comes up and over, feeling that long body from the back foot up through the fingertips, shoulder blade coming down a bit on that top arm. Then coming back, sliding down the back thigh, reaching up Strong in the glute on the back leg, reaching up to the sky, letting the sky fill you. And come back. Hands come together onto hips. Turn the feet for warrior two in the opposite side. Finding the version of warrior two that works for you. Feeling the strength rise through your body as you open through the chest, reach out through the fingers and look over the fingers. Maybe flip the hands, allow the shoulder blades to come down the back and flip them back. Bending the front arm, coming into side angle. Doing that long stretch, still listening. Top arm comes up, bend over, back to the thigh, opening up. Coming back through warrior two, bring hands to the waist, bring the feet into pigeon toes. So legs are wide, we're in pigeon toes. Hands come to the hip creases. Long through the back, extend with a bend from the bottom of the spine as the torso comes parallel to the earth. Knees and hips are a little soft here. Hands come down towards the earth. Hips rise up a bit. Relax down through shoulders and head. Long through lower back, middle back, upper back. Walk hands over to one side. Hand comes to the opposite ankle and the other arm opens up. Sweep across the middle and over to the other side and open. Come down. Bring hands to the waist as the torso comes parallel, pressing the feet out on each side, and then come. Toe heel the feet back together. And we'll come down into onto the mat to do a twist before we end here. So you might want a blanket again under your hips. It's been an interesting exploration into the hip extension and the glute squeezing. So it might be something you think about during the week and activate your glutes every once in a while. Even if just lying in bed on your in a prone position, just squeezing your glutes 10 times. Bringing one foot up beside the thigh of the other, perhaps coming over, stand out through the flexed heel of the bottom foot, and the arm wraps around, hand comes back behind. Long tailbone, long up through the spine, and then coming around slightly, first through the lower ribs, inhaling up through the crown, exhaling round through the shoulders, only 70% or so of what you could do. Release and come around. Other leg extends out, opposite comes up and over. Extend out through the extended heel. Wrap with the opposite arm. Inhale up through the crown, exhale as you start to turn, bottom to top. And make a gap. Release and unwind. Remove anything from the mat. We're going to come down into a relaxed position. So you might want your blanket near you to put under your knees for a shavasana. First coming down, letting the legs come diagonal and the arms diagonal. Imagine yourself a star of our imaginings resting on the earth. Letting the world affect you. Then bring in arms, bring in knees, give the knees a hug. Nose up to knees, hugging everything in. One more time, spreading everything out. And exhale it all in. Then finding a comfortable shavasana position. You might want a blanket under your knees, or you might have your knees tented together. Finding comfort for the body here. Within the shoulders, the skull. And then letting the breath take you. Relax down through the back of the neck, soft shoulders. Soft down through the arms and elbows and wrists. The pads of the fingers, the thumb. Letting the palms taste the air. Soften the pads of the toes, bottom of the feet. Tasting the slight wind of the room. Relax through calves and the backs of the knees. Hamstrings soft. Glutes quite soft now. Lower back, between the shoulder blades, the front of the throat, lips, cheeks, soft, eyes deep in their sockets, forehead and crown open to the energies of the universe. And bringing some length to the breathing. Perhaps wiggling the fingers and toes. Turning wrists and ankles as we come back into our day. Giving knees a hug. Bringing some resolve to the week ahead of you. And then rolling over, we'll come up to a brief sitting position. May we be healthy. May we be spacious of mind and body. May we listen to the stillness. And may we let the world have a chance to open up to us. Namaste. Good to practice with you.
Thanks, Nancy. Have a good trip.